there, this is Joe from SquareXO, and this is SquareXO episode 87. Today I've got Rebecca with me.
Hello.
And hopefully Nick will be joining us later. So this week is going to be our Game of the Year episode and our last episode of the year, so we'll be back in January. Yay, so we're going to have a nice little break. But before that, we're just going to go through the usual format and talk about our Games of the Year as well. Before we start, don't forget to follow us at squarexo.co.uk, twitter.com/square_xo, and patreon.com/squarexo if you'd like to back us. We're on youtube.com/JohansonWater if you want to listen on YouTube, or Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, and also Google Podcasts as well. Please give us a like, subscribe if you can, and share, because the more people that do that, the more people that find us, the bigger we become. Happy days. Okay, let's get on with the gaming news. Right, we're going a bit short on the gaming news this week, but just because we want to fly through this and get our game of the years out of the way, so there's not a lot of gaming news this time of year anyway. It's generally standard stuff. First up, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout is getting custom games next week. I have no idea what that means, but I presume it just means you can make games however you like them, set your own rules and stuff like that. Kind of sounds like that. Metro Exodus comes out a week earlier than expected. Are you excited about that game at all?
I am actually. I wasn't until I went to EGX and I had a play of the demo at EGX, and I think before Metro Exodus or the Metro series in general had been something I'd kind of not really been interested in, but playing the demo and seeing how much effort they put into that game, down to the smallest things like sound design and just how the weapons look. Oh yeah, I think I'm definitely going to get it now.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know if I own, because know how the first two were remastered for PS4, weren't they? And it was called the Metro Redux, I think it was called, where they were both remastered PS4. So I don't know if I own that or not. I might have a press copy, but I definitely don't have a retail copy, but I might have a press copy. So and I was thinking about it this morning, and that if I do, I'm just going to have a search through and see if I've got it, because I think I would quite like to just play it, because they did get a lot of praise. So I thought to myself, well, if I just play the first two, or at least start on the first one and see if I like it, then that will help me decide if I want to be interested in Metro Exodus or not. But I mean, I imagine they're quite cheap, so if anyone out there is sort of on the fence about Metro Exodus, maybe just go and grab yourself a copy of Metro Redux, because I think you can probably get it for probably a 10 or something, and it's 2 full games, so it might be worth just checking that out, don't you think?
I think that's what I'm going to do, because I've not played any other ones, but I definitely want to play Metro Exodus, so I think I'm going to go and get the 2-pack.
Yeah, and I hear they're pretty good. I mean, I think I played the original one on PS3, I think. But I don't know. I don't remember. I remember playing it a bit, the very first one, but I just don't know how long ago that was, so it's not something I'll probably be able to remember much about. Sega's classic Outrun is coming to Nintendo Switch. I'm quite pleased about that. I mean, I don't know if you heard me talk about Outrun the other week.
I did, yeah.
I was quite pleased that that's coming. I did have a go at Horizon Chase Zero. Is it Horizon's on? I keep getting it muddled up with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
Horizon, I think it's called Horizon Chase Turbo. I think that sounds a bit right, which is kind of a bit outrunny, but it's not as good. It's all right, but it's not Outrun. So it's okay though. I just bought it and Switch for something to buy, and it seems kind of okay. But Outrun, yeah, I'll be checking that out. Konami's launching a free-to-play PES Lite, so if you've not played PES yet, you can basically grab a Lite version and play that. And Stardew Valley's multiplayer update is finally arriving on Switch. To be honest, I'm not really that fussed about that, because I like playing it on my own and just doing one thing in that game. I don't see why I'd want to play with other people.
I think it's probably just because you're so used to playing it on your own, though, because it's been out for a while now. So it's probably a case of you've got your own methods and it's not used to playing it with other people.
I don't know if I've actually started it on Switch yet, because I've played so much of it on PlayStation 4, and I I bought it on Switch, and I don't actually think I've started it on Switch because I'm thinking to myself, well, I quite like it. I've done so much in PS4. I don't know if I really want to start all over again. I'm not sure. I need to think about it. Now, there was some quite interesting facts and images from games industry today. I've saved some of them here, just for 2018 on graphs basically, and it was just saying that mobile took 63.2 billion for the year, which was 47% of the games market. PC took 25% of the games market, 33.4 billion. And console took 15.2%. Console took 28%. I was reading that wrong, which is 38.3 billion. It's quite interesting that mobile's almost double what console takes, and that really surprises me actually that PC takes 25% and console takes 28%.
Yeah,
that's quite crazy.
Seems wrong, doesn't it?
So mobile's got 47% of market, right? But 37% of that is phones. 10% of that is tablet games, which is quite interesting. But that really surprised me, the console one. And then they break the console one down even more. So 44% of the market went to PlayStation for UK box sales, and 31.8% went to Xbox. Switch took 19.6%, and PC took 0.8%, and the others is just not really made up. What was the other interesting facts? The highest rated game for the year on Metacritic, Red Dead Redemption 2, no surprise. The lowest rated game, Wild West Online. Never even heard of that one. Red Dead Redemption took 725 million in just 3 days in revenue when it first launched, and it took 8 days for Red Dead Redemption 2 to surpass its predecessors' 8 years of sales.
Oh my god,
that's crazy. 200 million is the number of registered users on Fortnite, and 78.3 million is the highest number of unique players for a single month, achieved in August 2018. 78.3 million in a month, which is no surprise then that the top 10 most viewed YouTube trailers, Fortnite takes up the top 3. And then Fallout 76 actually was number 4 with 33 million viewers, even though everybody hates the game, which is just crazy. And then just under that was Game of Thrones Conquest, which took 33 million. And I meant you look that up earlier because I didn't know what it was. Is it a mobile game?
Something, yeah, like that.
I'm going to Google that because I quite like Game of Thrones, but I don't know if I'd want to play a mobile game. It's probably some rubbish free-to-play stuff in it. Yeah, and then Fortnite basically takes up most of the rest of the top 10 as well. The other thing was top 10 games by Twitter, RTs. Fortnite was top of that as well with 1,038 retweets. Black Ops was number 2, then Smash Bros, then Red Dead, then Fallout, and then surprisingly Dragon Ball Fighters. So yeah. One more thing I found interesting was a couple of things. I like these figure things, but then I'm a news person, so that's why I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
There was a graph here which was new IPs versus new releases for each publisher. So Microsoft had 5 new releases under the Microsoft banner and 2 new IPs. Nintendo had 16 new releases under the Nintendo banner and 2 new IPs. Sony had 19 new releases and 10 new IPs.
God.
So we know, and there's Activision here, 3 new releases, 0 new IPs. EA, 12 new releases, 2 new IPs. Ubisoft, 6 new releases, 2 new IPs. So Sony by far and away blew everyone out the water with new IPs and even new releases as well. So, I mean, that's no surprise for this year, is it? But it's quite good that they're investing so heavily in new IPs, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's
and it shows it's working, isn't it?
There's one final graph here which just shows the days until the first digital discount for each game, which just recently came out. Battlefield 4 only took 10 days before it was reduced in price. Red Dead took 20. Shadow Tomb Raider 26. FIFA 27. Black Ops 31. Assassin's Creed 41. Forza Horizon 4 44, and Spider-Man took 70.
God.
Yeah, so quite interesting. Okay, finally the charts. Let's have a look at charts. Smash Bros. Was the previous number 1, but that dropped 3 places after its debut to number 4. So FIFA was number 2 in the charts. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 had a big jump to number 3 in the charts, but it was Red Dead Redemption which saw a jump in sales to take its position at the top. It's number 1. So there we go. There's the charts. Right, now that that's out, we have quite interesting stuff this week actually. Now that's out, we can talk about our game of the year. And Nick might be joining us soon, so he might be joining in to tell us what his game of the year is as well. But I'll just keep an eye on my phone for when he turns up. Lloyd can't be with us because he's not feeling well, so get better, Lloyd. Okay, so we'll just start with our 5th game of the year. I've not actually wrote these down, so they might change by the time we're all talking. Yeah. But I'll start with my number 5 since I know what it is, and it's I can never get the name of it right. I keep getting it muddled up with another game. But it's hold on. I don't know. I think I know what it is called, but I just don't.
Oh, you really are doing them off the bat.
Yeah, and I know what game it is, but I keep getting it muddled up with another one. It's Kingdom Come Deliverance. I hope. I'm just making sure I got the name of that right.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
I was talking about it earlier, but I keep getting it muddled up with Kingdoms of Amalur.
Oh, okay.
So I keep getting the two of them muddled up. So I'm wanting to make sure even though I knew that's what the name of it was, I had this little doubt in the back of my head going, no, it's not. So I thought, right, I better check. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, this is a game, I remember someone brought it up earlier today, but I was thinking about it before that. It's a game that I played right at the start of the year, and I kind of wanted to include a game from the start of the year because I think a lot of these game of the year things, sometimes you overlook the games that were really good at the start of the year because the other ones are fresher in your mind. But I had to look back at my review for this one just to see why I was thinking to myself, oh, I remember that was really good. And for reading my review, I can sort of remember why I really liked it, just because it surprised me so much. I mean, I wasn't even meant to be reviewing it. I think someone else was reviewing it and they said, oh, it's too big a game, I can't be bothered sitting there for 20 hours trying to review this. And I said, oh, send it to me then. But I never knew anything about it at the time. And then I never even knew it was like an RPG. So I never knew it was my type of game. It was basically a Skyrim style game where it's a pure massive open world. Got the epic story, the battles, the grinding and all that to level up. I mean, it had its problems. The lock picking was awful. I mean, that was dreadful, but it was, like I said in my review, it was the sum of the parts rather than some of the parts, which made it a great game. Because when you added it all together, everything together, just the graphics, the voice acting was brilliant, for what I remember. The action, just everything about it all melded together just made it such a really good game. So that's my number 5, Kingdom Come Deliverance. And if you've not checked it out and you really like RPGs, it's well worth checking out because it is really, really good. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Cool. I'll jump in with my number 5 then. I think a bit like you, I really struggled to think of all the stuff that had come out this year, especially because some of the good stuff from the year came out right at the beginning, and I almost forgot that I reviewed some of it. I put Detroit Become Human at number 5, because I really did enjoy the game. I thought it was really good, but I thought that there were a few things in it that could have been ironed out a little bit. So the entire premise of that is you are facing a moral dilemma of you're in an android-filled city and world where androids are now at the same level as human beings, but they have become so intelligent that they realize that they're being repressed, and that's sort of the way the story unravels. And you do it in 3 different chapters. 3 different characters, and their stories all intertwined throughout the chapters. And I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed playing something that was more of a moral thinker than just like an action RPG or a puzzler. But I think that there are a few things in it that it needed to just iron out slightly for it to jump a little bit higher up my list. So cameras were not amazing. Found that quite often I'd be walking into stuff while I was trying to, get from point A to point B. And then I don't know how you found this because you played it too, but I was drawn more towards certain character stories. So I was kind of way more excited to play as Connor than I was to play as Kara or Marcus. And that made it feel like a bit of a slog when it got to their chapters. But I think overall, it was one of my favorite games of the year. And that's why I had to put it on the list. But I think because of the slight issues I had with very small aspects of the game, that's why I had to give it 5th place. It was just if it just needed ironing out a little bit, and it would have been able to climb a little bit higher. But it was well worth mentioning as one of my top 5.
Yeah, I think, well, since we're on the subject, Detroit's my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've just been trying to think about the games I've really, really enjoyed this year, and that was definitely one of them. For the minute I sat down and I didn't stop till I completed it, really. And I kind of think to myself, I would like to play, because obviously there's different ways, there's different things that can happen, a bit like Heavy Rain. So I kind of think to myself, well, maybe I should have played it again and tried out different scenarios and see how it changed the game. And I'm never convinced it would change it that much.
I think you'd be surprised. From what I played it through 3 times because I didn't actually get it, but I did go for the Platinum Trophy. And I played completely opposite, and I got some really interesting dialogue options and even scenery changes that I didn't expect they would have put in there. I didn't think it was going to be that diverse of a world, if that makes sense.
But is the ending just not already written, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sort of one of those things where there's kind of the standard good ending and the standard bad ending, and then there's just tiny changes based on what you played throughout. So 3 times I played through, I got the standard good ending, the standard bad ending, and then I got the good ending with bad filtered in it as well, if that makes sense. So kind of more of a middle ground ending. But yeah, the main core endings are very similar, and then it's just, I guess it's certain characters' paths and what happened to them that's different. I mean, it's worth replaying. It's something that I might go back and replay because I haven't played it since May, since it came out.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I didn't really like the demo that much. But then I played the game, and it just surprised me. And I remember how much it surprised me, and how much I really enjoyed the story and just everything about it, really. So I thought it was definitely worthy of a place in my list, and I think it's probably worthy just to go above Kingdom Come Deliverance, even though I really liked that game as well. But yeah, so I think Detroit number 4 for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the games of the year that's worth noting because it did do something that was quite unique. You know, most games, like I said, they'll sort of follow a story where you can't really do much about it and you're just playing through the story. And I've always liked Quantic Dream games for being a choose your own narrative thing. So I thought that this one, it kind of felt a bit bigger and a little bit more fleshed out than the previous Quantic Dream games. So that's part of my reason for putting it on the list. But like I said, they're just things I was a little bit more addicted to this year. So I'll do my number 4. This is an indie game, actually, that I got very recently. I only reviewed this probably the start of December. It's Subnautica, which is really interesting because compared to the sort of stuff that I like, which is very heavily influenced narrative games, so something with a really strong core story, it didn't really initially seem like it was going to fit the bill for me. And I know it's been out in early access for years, but it wasn't something I'd ever heard of before. I just knew it as being an underwater survival horror game. So my initial thoughts were it's going to be one with a story, but it's more survival based. But I really enjoy that, and it's kind of unexpected, but that's why I think I had to give it, the number 4 slot, because it's something that I played that I thought, I love this, and I didn't think I would be this. I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't think it would be something that I would spend literally hours and days on.
I literally know nothing about it.
Yeah, that's what I was like before. I mean, like I said, it's been out for early access for years, and I knew nothing about it until I got a review code. And it's set on an alien planet, and the entire premise is that you are in this massive alien world, but it's all mostly underwater. So there's no land anywhere you can see. So your entire premise is you've got to get your way back home and using survival skills by using what's on the planet. So it's got, got these survival elements that I really enjoyed from games like The Long Dark, which came out last year. And then it's got these crafting elements in too that I've enjoyed from previous games. So it kind of blends together everything really well. And one thing that I really gave it applause for in my review was how well it conveys like fear. So it's not a horror. I wouldn't say it's a horror, but I'd say that the atmosphere that they use in the game, so for example, the noises, the deep water, you can hear these colossal beasts just somewhere in the ocean, you don't know where they are. Just the way it uses terror and keeps you fearful of what's in the unknown, like what's in the deeper bit of the sea. I think that's something that I really enjoyed about it. And I did my review for the 6th Axis in the first week of December, and I'm still playing it now. I picked that game to play over other games that I've, like Bloodborne and stuff. I've been like, I can play. I've got an evening to myself. I'll play a game. I've gone, I want to play Subnautica, even though I've done my review and I technically, have no obligation to continue playing the game. It was just a review code. But I love it when you get a review code for a game that blows you away and you're like, I love this. I want to continue playing it. So, yeah, I'm honestly on it every day.
Yeah, well, it's good. You like that one? It's good. It's made your list as well. Number 4 was that? Number 4. So I'm at number 3
then.
You're
number 3.
Okie doke. Right. Number 3 is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. I just think Spider-Man's a brilliant game. It's kind of moved down my list a bit, but I think the way they've done it with the story, I thought the story is really good. The acting brilliant. The open world, there's nothing quite like just swinging through the city. You could just do that for hours. That's the most exciting part of it.
Yeah.
You just go and swing through the city. Occasionally these crimes pop up. I think the only thing that lets it down for me is that once you've faced the story and stuff and you're just swinging about, it can kind of get a little bit repetitive, just trying to complete everything. Trying to complete all these sort of little side missions and the random crimes and stuff. I mean, I've done that for weeks and weeks and never got bored, but then I started to tire of it a little. I'm like to myself, I'm getting fed up. I've still not platinumed it yet because I'm really, really close. I'm about 5% away or something, but because I'm not that bored with trophies, I'm not really in too much a rush. But I just found that it was getting a bit repetitive, and then the DLC comes out, and again, I'm enjoying the stories of the DLC, but it's just to get the extra bits, you need to do the same grinding again and stuff, and I just find it a bit repetitive. But no, as an overall spectacle, the story, the action, the game, everything about it until you complete the game is just brilliant, I think. I mean, that's what I'm all about, completing the stories of games. I'm not really fussed about the extra stuff to get the platinum trophy anyway, really, so it's a bit irrelevant to me. I just found that bit a little bit boring, that's all. But yeah, the main premise of it though and the story, brilliant. So that's why it's my number 3, because I just really enjoyed that.
See, I never got Spider-Man because I don't really like the Marvel films, but everybody said that it doesn't really matter. You can sort of just enjoy it for what it is and just know that it's part of the Marvel universe. So it might be something I'll get next year when I've got a bit of a lull.
Definitely worth getting because it's an excellent, really excellent game. Really enjoyable.
Right, so that's my number 3. I went, and I'll tell you why, because I think some people might think it should be higher. I put Red Dead Redemption 2 at my number 3 slot because I really enjoyed the main game, and I won't give any spoilers out or anything, but I enjoyed the main game and I loved it until about the last chapter. And then you finish the last chapter and then suddenly you go into the epilogue. And for me, it was just a screeching halt of action. It just slows down. I really struggled to stay with it. In fact, I still haven't finished the epilogue of Red Dead Redemption 2 because of the change of pace. It's so drastic and it's so sudden. The way that the game works is that it builds its pace very throughout the game. So through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's kind of bubbling under, and then in 6 it all goes haywire. But it feels really well paced, and it feels like it's done at a natural speed. And then it just grinds to a halt in the epilogue. And I know why they've done it, but I found it so hard to continue playing and continue the love I had for it in the earlier chapters, because it's so slow and it's so different. But if we're looking at what I'd consider the main story, so chapter 1 through 6, I really couldn't fault it. I thought that bit was amazing, and the open world is so immersive. And I think Arthur Morgan's one of the best video game characters to date. You can shape him how you want him to be, but he's still got his own personality. Really enjoyed the narrative. I thought it was really interesting seeing the development of the different characters. Even very subtly, you see them slowly change and develop due to circumstances around them, and I thought that was really well pulled off. But I honestly just think that the epilogue, I know what they're trying to do with the epilogue, and for anyone who's played, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But it just, the sudden change in pace, I just found it so hard to continue wanting to play, because I was like, oh, it's so slow now, and it's not what it was 20 minutes ago. It's completely different. So one day I'll get around to finishing the epilogue, and I'll finish the game that way. But for now, it's just a case of there are other things I want to play more, which is why I gave it number 3, just because I really did struggle with the change of pace at the end. But yeah, apart from that, really, really good game.
Yeah.
I bet it's your number 2, isn't it?
My number 2 is Tetris Effect.
Oh, it's not, yeah.
What a game. I mean, I if one game surprised me this year, it was Tetris Effect. I just think it's absolutely stunning. Amazing game. Tetris is known as one of the best games ever anyway. I mean, it's been practically every platform. And then I've enjoyed Tetris in the past. I've enjoyed playing it in handhelds and stuff, and it's a sort of time sink game. It's quite challenging. You don't think about it too much. And I would never have thought to myself, wow, I really want to play Tetris. I don't even know I'd have bought it if it wasn't in VR. Do you know what I mean? I only bought it in VR because I thought to myself, well, wonder what that's like. And then I put the headset on, put the earphones in, and it just blows you away. You're just completely immersed in all the music. I mean, I'm not really into sort of electronic music and stuff. I mean, I guess that's kind of what it's like. But there's a good mix of music in it. There's what I would suggest is indie music, and there's sort of pop music and stuff. But I just think it's fantastic. The music just really suits the game, and I just love the way when you're playing, it just builds up and sort of gets faster, and sort of the beats sort of happen just as you get rid of the blocks and stuff, and it just completely surrounds you, and you just forget everything else. I mean, even Lisa, who doesn't like games, I made her try it, and she was just sitting there for about an hour, 2 hours, without taking the headset off. She absolutely loved it. Everybody I've let try it has just been completely stunned by it. I mean, it's an absolutely amazing game. It's so good. So good. I can't recommend it highly enough. So yeah, that's why it's my number 2. It could have been number 1, to be honest. I was quite tempted to make it my number 1 because I enjoyed it so much. But yeah.
I feel like it's kind of shocking that a Tetris game has taken over like that. Like, loads of people have been saying to me it's really emotional and really hard hitting, but it's a Tetris game, so it's kind of incredible that it's managed to, pull that emotion out of people for literally a standard Tetris game in VR. So
I mean, last time I felt that emotional was when I played The Last of Us at the very beginning, and it kind of brought a tear to my eye, and kind of Tetris had a sort of affecting me, where it was just like, wow, this is just like special. It was just like one of the feelings like, oh, this is why I game sort of thing. That sort of feeling that is just like, yeah, this is amazing. So yeah, I love it. I can't.
Yeah.
I want to play it now. I'm talking about this.
Really?
Yeah, excellent game, brilliant.
So my number 2, you're not gonna like. You're not gonna understand because it's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah,
I thought so. Basically, I know you don't like the Smash Bros. Franchise or like a good majority of Nintendo games.
I don't really understand that branch. I don't really understand that. I've played it before and I just don't get it. I think it's the best.
Yeah, I can see how it's one of those things where you're a bit like, what's the draw here? But I mean, what they did in Ultimate just feels like they've really made a fighting game more than just a fighting game. That's the way I look at it. So you've got your standard Smash mode, which is where you play with your friends or your family, and the aim is to build up their HP and then knock them off the stage. That's still the same as it's always been. And now we've got this really impressive open world adventure mode called World of Light, which is a massive map. And the map is huge. And it almost feels like an RPG where you go from, one path to another. And along the way, you find these spirits. And you have to fight these spirits. And once you beat them, they'll add to your roster, which means that you can basically use them to add weapons to you, upgrade your health, upgrade your speed, upgrade your power. You'll start with a hammer, or you'll be immune to certain types of attack, which kind of fleshes it out a little bit and makes it a little bit more engaging than just a standard, just punch people until they fall off the stage. So I think solely based on the World of Light mode, it's one of those things that I can't stop playing, and I'll play the World of Light mode more than I would the normal Smash mode. So for me, I think that's why it was number 2. It came out maybe 2 weeks ago, and I've been constantly playing it since then. I gave it my writing career. One was for Oxenfree, and then the other one was for Smash Bros. So just couldn't fault it. I could not fault it at all.
See, I've been it's so annoying because I played the one on the 3DS and I just didn't get it. I tried, I bought it, I thought, right, let's just play it and see what the fuss about, and I just didn't get it. It's about that PlayStation All Stars, because I bought that as well, and I just didn't have a clue what was going on. It's like, what am I actually doing here? But I've never really liked fighting games like Street Fighter or anything like that, so I guess if I don't like games like that, it's not probably for me. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. So nah, I think I'll avoid that one. I think I might, if whatever I get next on Nintendo might be something like, I don't know, a Kirby game or something.
Yeah.
I was tempted to get the party one, Mario Party,
that's really good.
Because I quite like the one on the 3DS. I imagine, is it just the same game as the 3DS one?
Yes, I think so.
It's exactly the same game, just up-resed. Because most of the games on Nintendo Switch are actually games that I've probably played before in it. At the moment, most of them seem to be just rehashes of the old games that came out on other systems, do they not?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I think it's just because Nintendo have got such an established franchise that they can just pull games from their past and be like, oh, we're now bringing out a new Metro game. Metroid. Or, now it's time to bring back a Zelda game, or how about a new Mario game? They can rely on that because they're so successful in those old franchises.
Absolutely love Zelda. I've got Mario Kart. I've got all the big ones that are the most popular on their charts, like Mario Kart, Zelda, Pokemon, Super Mario, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it now. What is it?
Odyssey?
Odyssey? Yeah, that's the one. So I've got all of them, and I've got a bunch of others, but I don't play it that much. But I would quite like to get Smash Bros. Maybe because Travis likes it, because he played it a lot on 3DS. So maybe I'll get it just for him. But otherwise, I'll just grab some others. And I think there's one coming out next year that I want, but I can't remember what it was.
I want Animal Crossing next year.
Oh yeah, I want that, definitely. I love that game. Okay, are you with us now, Nick? Next,
I am indeed. Hello. Sorry, I'm late to the party.
Next
How is
year.
everyone?
Okay, right. We've read our game of the years
5 to 2,
from our number 5 to our number 2. So if you can catch us up quickly with your 5 to 2, that would be good.
5 to 2, inclusive, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 5, Spyro Reignited, because I've been wanting to play this since I was a small child but could never afford to go out and buy all of the Spyro games when I was too busy sitting there playing Crash Bandicoot, which is why number 4 is Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. That remaster has been in the charts basically since it came out, which, joke, did it beat Grand Theft Auto 5 in the charts at some point? It must have done. I'm pretty sure it was number 1 at some point.
Oh yeah, it's number 1 for quite a few weeks, Crash, I think.
It's an amazing remaster, that one. I can't put it any higher in the list because it's not a new game. Sure, it came out in 2018, but it's not a new game, strictly speaking. But it was a chance for me to relive my childhood and sit there on the sofa with the biggest grin on my face. Brilliant. If anyone takes the originals back in the day and you're yet to go out and buy these games, definitely do consider doing so, because it's just like childhood in HD, which, who doesn't want that? Did either of you mention those two?
Nope.
Nope.
Good. All right. In that case, number 3 has got to be Guacamelee 2.
Oh, that's a good one.
Have you had a chance to play it?
No, I've heard amazing things though.
I was going to get it for Switch, but I've not actually done it yet.
When I reviewed this when it first came out on the PS4 earlier this year, I gave it 10 out of 10. Lloyd reviewed it recently. For those of you that haven't read it, I think the review went live about a week ago. Spoiler warning, he feels the same as I do. It's a flawless follow-up to the 2013 original. I think it's 2013, the original Guacamelee. It has bright and colourful stuff. It has all of the humour that you'd want. It's self-referential. I think I said at the beginning of my review that it's like the Deadpool movie, but without the swearing in terms of humour. It is just fantastically written. It is a joy to look at. And you can move between the world of the living and the dead, which makes the Metroidvania a bit more engaging. And you can turn yourself into a chicken. Who doesn't want that? You get a new power-up. The light bar on the PlayStation 4 controller flashes all these different colours because your controller's having a party in your hands. It is just mind-blowingly awesome.
Oh, maybe I'll buy it on PS4 then instead of Switch.
It's just the bright, bold, beautiful colours. You don't need the PS4's processing power for it. You can probably get away with it on the Switch. It doesn't have quite the same graphic capabilities as the PS4, so don't worry if you've only got a Switch, even if you are listening to a PlayStation podcast. Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
I just like the thought of it flashing in my hand. Quite like that. Let's go.
Play in a dark room and just get the most out of it. I do recommend. And then my number 2, for those of you who haven't been following me since whenever I started doing video game journalism, Monster Hunter is one of my favourite franchises. Yes. I've been playing it since Monster Hunter 2 on the PSP. Played it through the PS3. I've played more Monster Hunter games in Japanese and tried to beg and plead my English friends and my brothers who have played it in English to try and play it with me. And I will just sit there and I'll translate every mission so that I have someone to play with. Now I finally have people to play with that I have known for years. And it is just, when I saw that was coming out on the PS4, it was just jaw dropped. Like, whose slogan was it? Welcome home. Was that one of the Fallout games? That's what it felt like. The game was originally Sony. It's now back on Sony and it's back in English. And it is just, they simplified a few things. It's not, some of the purists got a little bit upset that they'd taken away some of the more in-depth stuff. But it's opened up the franchise to people that hadn't had a chance to play it before. And it's done an admirable job of bringing new people in.
Okay, so, right. Well, I'm just going to give everyone a recap of what we've said. So my number 5 was Kingdom Come Deliverance. My number 4 was Detroit Become Human. My number 3 was Spider-Man. My number 2 was Tetris Effect. For Rebecca, it was Detroit at number 5. Subnautica at number 4, Red Dead Redemption at number 3.
Number 3, yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 at 3.
Smash Bros at number 4, at number 1.
Number 2.
Number 2. Oh, I'm getting muddled up with all these numbers. And for next, Spyro was his number 5, Crash Bandicoot was his number 4, Guacamelee 2 is his number 3, and Monster Hunter was his number 2. Right, I've been sort of given these points as I go. So there's 1 point for 5th place, 2 points for 4th, 3 points for 3rd, and 4 points for 2nd, just so I could add up if we ever said the same one, what the most popular one would be. And so far that's not really happened because we've got such different opinions.
So far,
what was
but
that?
I have a funny feeling that you just said one of the ones you said was my number 1.
No.
Ooh.
No. Possibly. Yeah, well, we'll figure that out then. Okay, I'm going to go for my number 1, but before I do that, I'm just going to give some honourable mentions, which will completely spoil the fact that none of them are at number 1, but I'm going to go for that. My honourable mentions go to Astrobot on the PlayStation VR, Far Cry 5, which I thought was a great game, and also Vampire. Again, I thought that was an absolutely brilliant game. Oh, and I've got one more. Shall I tell you what it is? It's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah, it's not on your list.
No, it's in my honourable mentions, which means my number 1 is God of War.
Shock horror.
God of War was absolutely amazing. I explained, I think Rebecca got how much I like Tetris when I was talking about that, but I just thought God of War, everything about it was just so good. The story was epic, the acting amazing, the graphics just stunning, the world was full of surprises and just fantastic, and the action is just the action's just brilliant. I love it a bit. So I just think they've nailed it. They've nailed everything, because I love God of War anyway, the series, and it's just completely changed with this reboot. It's like, because I mean, it was always action packed, and always had a good story in my opinion, but it was never quite like this. I mean, it was kind of more like a sort of third person action game, and it's just kind of a bit, I guess, not basic, but it was always kind of epic, but it was just never quite as stunning and in your face like Naughty Dog style storytelling, and that's kind of what I think they've done. They've just learnt the lessons from Naughty Dog and kind of brought it to God of War and just rebooted the whole thing, told an amazing story with stunning graphics and a world full of surprises, and it just makes my jaw drop. I love it even now. Even after completing it, I just think, wow, that was some game. Amazing game. And like, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. I just really liked it. If you've not played it, you've just got to. Even non-God of War fans have been turned with it, man. I know there's been some who've said, I don't like God of War, then they've played it and they've just been like, wow, that was something. And it tells a cracking story, loads of emotional twists and turns, plenty of action, brilliant, amazing, well deserved number 1 in my opinion.
Very good. I haven't played it. I've got it on my shelf here, but my disc drive on my PS4 is broken. So I'm sitting here staring at it longingly. That's for one game of 2019, but not this year, I'm afraid.
Do you have any honourable mentions before you tell us your number 1, Rebecca?
My number 1, no one else will have as well. Like I'm just saying. My honourable mentions: Far Cry 5, I really enjoyed. Old Man's Journey, I really enjoyed. That was something that came out in May, I think, which seems like ages ago now. Bendy and the Ink Machine, another one I really enjoyed. I think, and people will be shocked by this because it's such a small game and I think not many people played it. My number 1 for this year was The Gardens Between, which is a indie game by the Voxel Agents. It was showcased at Paris Games Week a few years ago, and as soon as I saw it on the screen, I thought, that's my kind of game. I was like, I need to play that. I just know I'm going to love it. And it focuses on these tiny islands which are littered with childhood memorabilia or like bicycles and chessboards and like bags of crisps, stuff from these two central characters' lives. And the way that the game works is that you control time. So they have their own paths already plotted out in each island, and they already go where they're always going to go. And you just control time by moving the analog stick to the left or the right. And as you do that, you basically can interact with different objects. You can manipulate the world. You can use the time feature to get them to different platforms they wouldn't have been able to reach before by moving different objects, by interacting with them. And I just think that the concept was so unique, and I've never ever played anything like that before. On top of that, it's got really gorgeous graphics. It's very soft. The islands are all very well put together, and the way that the objects from their childhoods have been implemented just really wowed me. And the narrative itself, which is something that you pick up on your own. There's no, dialogue or written narrative. It's quite emotional, and it tells a really impactful story about how precious time is and how it's so easy to get lost in the meaningless things in life and actually forget about the things that matter. So it's the only platinum I've got all year, because I played it and I thought, I love this game. I need to play it more. I want to find out as much as possible as I can from it. And it's probably the only game I've played this year more than 6 times. I keep going back to it. The puzzles are so amazing. Some of them I'm genuinely, I couldn't figure them out.
I hate that. That frustrates me. When you can't figure out puzzles, it's like, it gets a bit crazy. Hello. I've lost everybody. I think we lost Rebecca there. She got so excited she hung herself up, I think. You still there, Nick?
I am indeed.
Oh no, we've lost Rebecca. Okie doke. Right, we know. We're sorry about that. We don't know what happened there, but we know that Rebecca's number 1 then is The Gardens Between. So, Nick, have you got any honourable mentions?
I do, as it happens. This guy I know was going on about how amazing Tetris was. So I went out and bought a Tetris VR. So I bought a PlayStation VR and I got Tetris on it. And you're right, Joe, it is absolutely amazing. That game is mind-blowingly beautiful. The first time I turned it on, it was in that PlayStation VR cinema kind of screen where you've only got a 2D screen in front of you. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. When I turned it on the second time, it was in the full proper wraparound VR and it was just mind-blowing. But I haven't been playing it long enough for it to be on my list, I'm afraid. I spent maybe 2 or 3 hours on it so far, but that's not quite enough to cut it for Game of the Year. My other honourable mention is Astrobot. Again, brilliant recommendation from you there. That is well worth picking up if you have a VR. If you don't have a VR, do consider picking it up if you can get one on the cheap. I think I spent about 130 on mine, and it was £130 very well spent. Those are my 2 honourable mentions. My number 1 has got to be Spider-Man, though. Which I know this one came up for you at number 3, but the reason why it's number 1 for me is because that's the quickest I've ever gone from loading up a game to going, I need the platinum for this, to getting the platinum. The world is absolutely fantastic. It's everything that... Saying that it's Arkham Asylum, but with Spider-Man instead of Batman, is a very crude way of putting it. I'm sure most people have played it at this point. But what it does amazingly is what Batman failed at. Batman is dark and gritty, and that's fine in a Batman game. But the Spider-Man game was absolutely stunning. It was bright, it was colourful, it was funny, it was sad. Just a flawless game, that one. I'm sure there were a couple of bugs here and there, but that aside, absolutely stunning. Do highly recommend. It's the most human superhero game I've come across. And getting that dichotomy right, making you feel like you are, well, Spider-Man swinging through the through the streets of New York is brilliant. But when he's Peter Parker on the ground, he doesn't feel like a Marvel superhero. He just feels like your average normal person finger gunning people walking down the street.
Yes. Stunning game, I agree. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I just don't know. I just can't see past it from the ones I put in front of it. That's all. But then you've not played God of War yet, so that's why.
I haven't. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption either. This lack of a disc tray. It's all right. I will at some point soon. I just need to get around to ordering a new PS4. Probably Christmas sales. We'll see what happens. So January sale.
I didn't put Red Dead Redemption in my top 5 because it's a stunning game. Don't get me wrong, but I've got this thing with Rockstar games where I play them for 2 weeks and then I just kind of forget about them and never ever go back to them again. I don't know why. I've always done it. I've done it with GTA. I've done it with the last Red Dead. And they lose my attention generally after a couple of weeks. And I don't know why.
That's fair enough.
I can't put my finger on it. But no.
The problem with Rockstar games, they are so expansive that it's very easy to get overwhelmed is the wrong word, but just so lost in the game that you don't know which direction you're going and you don't know what you should be doing. It's the same problem with Skyrim. You can spend hours doing nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree there.
Imagine Red Dead Redemption is the same.
Yeah, okay. So there's our game of years. You've got them. It's Spider-Man for Nick. Gardens Between for Rebecca, and I opted for God of War. On our website, the results are now in for our users' game of the year, and it seems that our users agree with me that God of War is the game of the year for our users as well. We asked people. We basically put the vote out. We asked people what their game of the year was. We took every single game into account, and the four final four was Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Spider-Man, and Firewall Zero Hour, which is a PSVR game that I've not actually played yet.
Same.
But maybe I need to check it out. So, out of all the votes, Red Dead Redemption 2 got 27%, Spider-Man got 21%, Firewall Zero Hour got 2%, and God of War was the runaway winner, really, with 50% of the votes. So,
yeah, you can't say no to that.
Congratulations, God of War. It's amazing, stunning game. So yeah, I'm totally pleased with that result. I think it makes
Something
sense.
tells me if I'd had a chance to play it, it probably would be on my list. But
I can't believe Tetris wasn't in that poll. I'm just annoyed about that because it's a stunning game. Stunning game. But yeah. So there we go. That's it. We're done for the year now. We're not going to play a game. We're just tired out. We need a refresh. We're hitting the refresh button. This is our last podcast of the year. We'll be back in January. We're going to probably take a little break on the website soon. I think we've done a review every day this month as well, to be honest. I think we've still got quite a bit. We've still got at least 4 or 5 reviews to come, I think. And then we'll just take a wee break till January. We won't do any more reviews. We'll just say, hey, it's time for a refresh, which is always nice, isn't it? Just to have a rest and just start again in January. So we'll probably do that every year. Just take 2 weeks off or whatever at the end of December, because that's what I've always done. I've always liked doing that. So yeah. So we'll see you again. What was that?
Too busy drinking mulled wine.
Yeah, maybe. But I just like to refresh the batteries now and again, and just sit back and not worry about it. No worry about anything. Just clear your mind, a bit of white space, which is always nice. So yeah, thank you everyone who's helped in the website this year and read our articles, backed us on Patreon. Just thanks to everyone who supported us, and we'll see you next year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.